Hello, welcome back to One's the Force of Star Wars podcast. My name's Phil, of course. I'm joined as usual this evening by Dave. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening again, my friend. We are back again talking to each other. It's like we're sick the sight of each other by the end of this.
Something like that. Although to be fair, we spent many hours in the queue together chatting Star Wars non-stop, and we didn't get bored. We ended up creating a podcast. So who knows where this will lead? Yes, we are back for another panel discussion. This time is the Mandalorian panel. We've been lucky. Someone foolishly put the trailer online, and Disney quite rightfully took it down. But we were lucky enough to get a glimpse of it. So we are going to be talking about the trailer in this. If anyone's watching this or listening to this doesn't get a chance to see the trailer, we'll break it down for you as much as we can. But my God, is it worth watching if you can find it? We're sure Disney will probably release it officially at some point, and when we do, we'll do our own video on it here. But for now, that panel, Dave, was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cool.
It started out. It started with Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni coming out. And to be honest, the bit with Kathleen Kennedy seemed a little bit awkward until she left, and the guys could really sort of settle into it. But yeah, it started off amazing that like Jon Favreau was there and got a massive cheer, and Filoni, as he always does, got a huge response as well. So it started off very well. It's like, this is going to be massive. It felt big news when they stepped on and started talking about it. Especially Kathleen Kennedy coming out to talk about a TV series. That, to me, felt like it put some extra on it.
Yeah, well. No, you knew this is big for. It's big for Star Wars. It's big for Lucasfilm. It's big for Disney as well, having a live action show. They're doing their others with Marvel and Disney themselves, but to have Star Wars do one is pretty big. I know they wanted to do it for a long time. Lucas wrote, 54 episodes or something of a live action TV show that never got made.
Yeah.
And to have this come to fruition is going to be rather spectacular. So yes, having Kathleen Kennedy there made it a bit more of an impact of, this really is something big, not just a show. It's something that, it means a lot to Lucasfilm.
It's I guess it's because it's their first thing. It's like their flagship that they're doing. So they really are putting everything they can into making this show as awesome as it looks like it's going to be. I mean, I'm still in absolute awe of what we've seen.
Indeed. So, at first, of course, it was just Favreau and Filoni talking, which you could quite easily sit down and go with those two and have a bit and just chat Star Wars rounds. And you know that you can see not only from the panel but from all of his posts leading up to this that Favreau really knows his stuff.
It's just I can't even imagine being in a room with more knowledgeable people that I would want to just sit and not even just get in the discussion, just sit, be a fly in the wall, and just listen to all of that knowledge being dropped.
Indeed, as well. The only other person you want there would be Lucas himself, and then you would just sit there. Oh, maybe Pablo Hidalgo as well. Just to have the four of those. If you do, you might as well have the maker and have the walking encyclopedia that is Pablo Hidalgo. In fact, if those of you who don't know, he actually does do the visual dictionary, so he is literally the walking encyclopedia for Star Wars. The panel itself then, of course, had the guests come on, so you had Pedro Pascal, Gina Carrero, and Carl Weathers come on. Fantastic. Those three did their jobs well. They were so excitable. They were so you could tell they were happy to be there. And actually tell they were properly excited about being there for this panel. It
was crazy. I mean, to be honest, they didn't get to say a lot, which is one thing they just got kind of brought out so you could meet the cast, really, the main cast of the characters that you're going to be seeing in the Mandalorian show. But what they did say, you're right, so excited. Pascal was absolutely seemed beside himself that he was getting to be in a Star Wars film.
Oh, too right. Well, that's the thing. It's a show, and that's the thing we've got to remember. This is a show. We've seen this trailer. We've seen these images. The images have been officially released by Disney. We have those. The images, the trailer, the behind the scenes reel, the mocap reel. It looks, and the biggest compliment we give it, it looks like a Star Wars film. It doesn't look like a TV show. It does look like a film. It looks like when we saw Rogue One for the first time, when we saw the behind the scenes reel and the trailer for Rogue One for the first time. This is that same kind of reaction, and it's just it is perfect. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Frog in my throat there. It does look fantastic. And said they came out. So you had Gina Carrero. We found out her character's name is Cara Dune, and you have Carl Weathers playing Grief Marga. Gina Gerard's character, Cara Dune, she is an ex-rebel shock trooper, and Grief Marga runs a guild of bounty hunters looking for someone to get a product for a client, and ends up hiring the Mandalorian. Small snippets, but again, so much information jam-packed in there.
When she said shock trooper, I was kind of like, I don't quite understand if that's supposed to be said, if that's actually something that should be out there. So she, I'm an ex trooper, and I was like, oh, okay, that might be a bit more than anyone else got to share about the character. So you kind of wonder if that was supposed to be said, and if it was just an excitement thing that kind of did that for her. But you know what? She kind of recovered really well. She spoke really well as well for going through the rest of the story and how excited she was to be there. Saying she had no idea how big it was until she walked out into that room, in that massive auditorium of room. It looks like an arena when you go out there. The seat structure and everything, it's huge. And I think just the noise and things, you'd see how overwhelmed they were. And yeah, she spoke really well. Carl Weathers, and next to Billy Day, I'm guessing another coolest man on the planet, would be awesome to meet. But and then really it came down to Filoni and Favreau really sharing stories of how they first came together through Clone Wars.
Indeed, and it was interesting to see that, of course, Iron Man, run by Marvel and bought by Disney, they were doing the special effects at ILM and Skywalker Ranch. So, of course, they ran into each other when the Clone Wars first was coming out, and when Iron Man was first coming out. So, of course, that's when they first crossed paths. And, of course, check out Star Wars from there. The fact that, yeah, you can see how far they go back, but see how well they work together, which helps when creating a show of this magnitude. When you have to get something like this, you have to get it right. There's no way, there's no lefts, there's no wrongs there. You have to get it just spot on. If it's not, people will complain, or it won't work, or it won't feel right. You have to get it done perfect the first time. And seeing again how well they gel, and seeing the slight discussions on stage, looks here, there, the little just what we can and can't say, but the slight nods of yes, I think this will work. It just gives us a little bit of excitement of just what can't they say that we will wait until November to see. I mean, we've got to wait till November 12th.
Yeah, everything is coming out in November. November is going to be an amazing month for any content that you're looking for Star Wars. November seems to be it when it's coming. I cannot wait for this show. I mean,
October, Friday. November, everything's released. December, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
just these 3 months of just Star Wars awesomeness.
And I mean, we've got this. We were watching the live feed, so in the room they cut the feed, so we got just a timer going on, and that was when the room got shown the first video, which was this behind the scenes reel, which we've seen over a few films. We've seen it on Rogue One. Was it on Episode 7 as well? Episode 8. We got a behind the scenes Episode 7. Sorry, because Finn.
No, 7 they didn't have one. 8 they did.
But we had
7. They had the second trailer.
So we had that had the behind the scenes reel, and it's fascinating to watch. And I'm really glad that.
Well, this is why I say it looks like Rogue One. It reminds me of when we first saw Rogue One. That behind the scenes reel, it does look like a film. You can tell it's a $200 million or $100 million TV show. You can tell where the money's been spent.
Not a penny wasted.
No, I mean, Game of Thrones looks epic. It has the scale, it has the grandeur, it has the big sets. This looks epic on a different scale, a different way of looking at it. Everything is... Star Wars always is a very kind of a cramped environment. You always feel that there's a huge expanse in the universe, but everyone's jammed into a tiny little space. No one has freedom, no one has what they want. It's all this kind of encompassing environment. And to get that just with the way the streets look run down, it does look like the Outer Rim, the way they've just captured everything. And I'm telling you this purely from watching a small behind the scenes video. It just is this. It gives off a feeling of pure Star Wars. And it's one of those things of, I was more excited for this than I was for Episode 9. Not because I don't want to see Episode 9. I genuinely can't wait for that film. I'm super excited for that. But this is new. This is something Star Wars has not done before, a live-action TV show. We've seen an animated TV show. We've seen the films. We love them. We're excited about them, and we can't wait to see them. But this is uncharted territory. And just these snippets. I mean, I'm going to let you, Dave, talk more about the mocap rig first.
Wow.
Because that thing just... Well, you saw my reaction when we talked on off air beforehand. I mean, oh...
This was, this is the video they shared with everybody. This was in the live stream and shown to the room as well. So what they've done is they decided the way forward they want to go. Firstly, Jon Favreau joked that he did the 3D modeling of the Mandalorian ship. And then Jon Favreau was like, quite like a miniature of that, mainly for his desk. And he just wanted a toy, something that he could hold from the show.
That, by the way, is the sign of a true Star Wars fan.
True, right? I need something I can have. Yeah, it's so yeah, that was really nice. And then what they decided to do is they went to ILM and they were just talking about going back to doing the ship at the pass-bys and the flying the way they did in the original trilogy on those the motion control.
Well, so originally it was just for lighting purposes. They want to see what it would look like, and then more and more people came into. They realized they actually were building a proper mocap rig, and it just looks. Oh, I can't even give it
awesome
words.
Yeah, it's awesome that it was actually they said on like talk with ILM. Oh, and there's John Knoll in the background just talking about listen to them what they were saying, and then John Knoll went and built this rig in his garage, just manually machined all the parts.
And John Knoll just go we like this idea. Let's just go back and do this.
It's absolutely insane that they literally just went and said, oh, we're going to build it. And they did. They built this rig, and then they showed us multiple shots of a pass-by of the ship and obviously the different layers of that ship. I mean, there's a bit where they put LEDs in the back of the thrusters, not a digital effect, an actual LED effect, and it looked incredible coming from this miniature.
The Razor's Crest, which is this new ship,
it
looks
just... And to take it right back to the earliest days of 1970s when they were doing Star Wars, to do these ships the same way, I think it's an absolute stroke of genius, an absolute mark of someone who's paying full respect to what's come before them. And that absolutely blew me away seeing that.
Completely agree. And it's one of those things. I mean, Filoni said it's just like Luke's X-Wing, isn't it? And you just had to agree when you watch the behind the scenes of the original trilogy, it's almost the exact same pass.
Yeah, literally, yeah, absolutely.
And it's eerie in terms of when you watch it, they've just managed to get it spot on, and nothing's changed in a good way.
Oh no,
you just watch it go. This is how they've come full circle and gone back to this is how it should be done. Technology is great. Technology can be used to improve it, but when you find something like this practical, it just makes it feel more real. And Star Wars is always about feeling real. Lucas wants to push the boundaries of technology, and in doing so, he pushed it into the digital age and helped create the digital age. But now, his creations, his digital forefront, is being used to make his old practical work better. And he pushed ILM to make those mocap rigs in the first place. So basically, everything's going full circle in the way that George Lucas's original intentions are now being improved upon and made to look just expletively good. I genuinely wish this wasn't a family show right now so I could tell you how I genuinely feel, because I almost cried just watching that behind the scenes reel on that trailer because it looks proper Star Wars.
That's probably the biggest compliment you can pay it. It felt like Star Wars. It felt like everything that's come before. And the best thing I can give it is that it's set, to say,
5 years after Jedi.
After Jedi. It felt like you're in that era. Like, if you'd watch Return of the Jedi and then go to watch this, it still felt like it would be exactly placed there as well. It's not like, oh, it looks different and that's changed a bit. It looks phenomenal. And I love how Rose said he'd taken what he's been learning on Lion King and through the Marvel movies and all this motion technology that they've been using, video screens for things. It's just, it's going to be phenomenal, Phil. It really is.
It is. And also, this thing, we might as well talk about the actual trailer itself. So, excuse my laptop there, and people on the video will notice that's gone wrong. People in audio, you're fine. The the trailer itself, listen, someone's foolish enough to post it. Disney's going to probably
we are foolish enough to watch it.
We're foolish enough to watch it. We're not it's good enough to watch it. Not foolish enough to repost it anyway. We're not that stupid.
Oh, yeah. As I said now, the one thing about this trailer, if you're trying to look for it now, Disney are tearing down these links. So I'm sure there will be an official release at some point of this. Maybe not this trailer, because I know when we, like I said to Phil earlier, when we saw Rogue One, we saw a trailer that never saw the light of day after The Room. But I do think now this is leaked online as heavily as it has. I do think it will come out.
Considering what a flagship this is going to be for Disney Plus, they really ought to release it officially.
It's just, I mean, I've just got it on now on the screen below me. The visuals are stunning. I mean,
IG-8,
Assassin Droid.
I'm a fan of Murderbots. I grew up in an era of watching Robot Wars, being brought up in old school British heavy metal and rock. If you couldn't tell by the hair and the beard, and Star Wars. So how could I not love Murderbots? So in the comics, 000 and BT one of my favorite, and IG-88 has been one of my favorites for years. To see him, just looks so cool.
It does, and I mean, we'll just kind of give you a brief sort of breakdown. I mean, it starts with it's characters that we don't know, which is a really nice thing. Going through this, and we do get, amazingly, in the background, it looks like we get Death Troopers very early on in this trailer. We get to see the Mandalorian. Now we get all sorts of...
I get a Flame Trooper.
Yeah, we get the Flame Trooper that was alluded to earlier. A lovely shot inside a cantina with Mandalorian making some sort of deal. And then we get all sorts of familiar creatures. We get Jawas. Jawas are back. And honestly,
Jawas are amazing.
And it seems like such a silly thing, but the sight of a Jawa makes me so happy because I have missed classic creatures in this current trilogy.
Yeah,
I don't need them everywhere, but
if you're a Doctor Who fan, when they bring back like the Daleks, the Sontarans, that's cool. But when they bring back old school monsters like the Routons, if they ever bring them back, they bring back they brought back the not Sumo Cybermen, 10th Planet Cybermen, so the original Mondasian Cybermen in a special recently, and that for me was an awesome moment as a fan watching that old school, that classic come back. This is that same reaction, if not much bigger, seeing Jawas, seeing the classic, seeing, I can't remember, it's the same species as Satro Vizago from Rebels, the horn guy.
Yes, the horns, and then also I think seeing in the cantina in New Hope as well.
In episode 4, yes, he's there.
But it's just
seeing that creature in it again, just seeing these throwbacks.
And it's just things like the blaster noises and stuff like that. Sort of stormtroopers everywhere, which was awesome that they brought in the 501st. They said in the panel that they needed extra stormtroopers, so they got the 501st in, members of that, to actually be extras in the movie.
This is the funny thing. We don't have enough stormtrooper outfits. What are we going to do? Who do we know? What can we do? Oh! We actually have fans who have their own costumes that are better than ones we've actually made. Let's use them. But they didn't tell. That's the one thing. Apparently, they didn't tell them what they were being brought in for. I love that. I think it's a fantastic thing.
It's amazing that they were like, "Yeah, we're just turning up for something. It's something in Lucasfilm. You come along and do it, and I'm sure it'll be fine." And yeah, it was to be in the Mandalorian. So now their armor that they were saying in the Great Line, that they've now got screen used props.
Well, yeah, it's also so the great thing about it is you always want something that's screen used, and they all away with screen used armor.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It is. Their costumes literally just tripled in value. It's great.
Yeah. Again, fighter as well in there comes through, and one of the final shots we get before we get the Mandalorian raising his blaster is a stormtrooper getting his face smashed out by some kind of weapon swinger. I guess it's probably the Mandalorian, and then it kind of closes on him holding up the gun. The classic gun from the Star Wars animated special, from the holiday special, the animated section of that special. And then we get the new Mandalorian logo, which is a really nice logo, which is everywhere. You'll now see it. It's on our thumbnail for this. When we've done, it's on all our social media as well. We've got quite a bit up from the panel around our social media. We've posted a few things out there. And yeah, it's just been... This is
one thing we haven't got yet. And the one thing I'm really intrigued by is what the soundtrack will be. I'm interested to see what the actual score for this will be.
It's going to be. I mean, it will be a classic don't know who's. Oh, we do know who's scoring it. It's the guy who won the Oscar this year. Who's
yes. I
his
have
name escapes me. Long-haired guy and classic name that is escaping me right now. But yeah, he is going to be doing the scoring. So we know we're in for an orchestral score.
It's Ludwig Göransson.
Yes, thank you.
Göransson, yes.
Will be scoring this. And so, yeah, we're going for, again, it's going to be a score. It will be a classical score because otherwise it steps way outside of Star Wars. And from everything else we've seen on this panel and the trailer and the behind the scenes, they are going for classic Star Wars. They even made notes that they'd watched Caravan of Courage, the Ewok movie, to get some information. So I don't know if that's just because obviously they're Endo, I don't know, something like that, but they've looked at everything. I love how deep diving they're going for this. Filoni and
what I loved also as well was Pedro Pascal's story of how he got the part of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, when he asked who they wanted him to audition as, well, who am I, the robot? Yeah. Am I able to audition for that?
Well, so that he walked in and said, he got the call from Jon Favreau going, hey, I want you to come in for something Star Wars. And that was it, something Star Wars. And he went in and he basically walked into the Righteous, seeing these storyboards for what would become the Mandalorian, of just so many things that you wouldn't believe what I've seen. And he said, what do you want me to audition for? The robot or the lizard? Or just, what do you want me to audition for? He goes, no, you're the Mandalorian. And you could just see on his face of just this pure elation.
Yeah, it really is something special, this. Yeah, I've got no doubts about it. I was quite excited about it before we got this panel. I am ultra excited about it now. Don't get me wrong. Before we got to see the trailer and the behind the scenes footage, I'd be like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And once I saw what everyone else had seen, absolutely incredible stuff. I'm just beyond words excited for this. George sent us a message when he was in the panel, and he really said he really liked it as well. Before we saw anything of that, he was going to try and give us a description of what he'd seen, but then someone like an idiot posted online. I'm sure Disney are at the door right now trying to have a word with them. But yeah, it's just looks, everything about it looks amazing. Looks like Star Wars. I need this in my life right now. We really do. And of course, we've still got the Clone Wars to come. This has been one hell of a weekend. Phil and I are going to finish this. We're going to prepare, probably have some food or something, and then we've got the Clone Wars panel, and then we'll be back later tonight after that finishes to talk about what we get from the Clone Wars panel. It's a really good day for Star Wars Celebration today. I'm really, really enjoying what we've had so far.
I was looking forward to today more than I was Episode 9. Not to say I wasn't looking forward to Episode 9, but the Mandalorian Clone Wars just...
Yeah.
Give me that all day long. I
can't wait for the Clone Wars. I really, really am excited to see this and talk about it with yourself after we get this finished. And who knows, by that point, George might do another jump on as well. So we might hear from him again because he's managed to get on a couple of times. He's been leaving the convention center over the last couple of days. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, this is only a quick sort of video to kind of give you our first thoughts on The Mandalorian. If a trailer fully drops, we'll get that posted up on our page.
If the trailer fully drops, what we will do a video on it officially and go, we'll take it not frame by frame, but bit by bit, we'll break it down properly, because right now we can't really break it down properly. We can't show anything from it. We're not that foolish. We like having our own little channel. We don't make any money from it. We do this purely for the love of Star Wars, and it really is a love of. So considering how busy I have been, especially this weekend, it really is for the love of Star Wars. And yeah, I genuinely, I can't wait to see what we have later. But for now, I said when we get this trailer come out, when we get whatever happens. Oh, do we have a comment from the World of Wayne saying I'm late to the party on this one? Covers will be awesome. Do they have a release date? Yes, it will be November 12th.
November 12th. Now, they didn't say if they were dropping the whole series at that point.
No, we don't know if it's just episode 1 or if it's the whole thing. This is an interesting point. George wants it all in one day.
Yeah.
I think I'd prefer it week by week.
So yeah, I'm kind of, while yes, I would like to watch it week on week, once I've seen the first episode, I think that opinion will change very much instantly, where I need to just binge the whole series. But definitely when we get that series, we will be literally doing an episode by episode review on this channel, taking you through every in and out and cameo and surprise appearance and Easter egg that we can see. We'll talk about it at length, at nauseum on here to all of you, because it's just going to be a great year to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, don't forget, when Disney Plus drops, we will have the new Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Season 2 of Resistance, all just before The Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be one hell of a few months. And we're sat here in April going, oh my. I mean, we've had zero news for the past few weeks, right? We've been very, very busy. We had one very hectic show in February where I had to basically divulge everything in a 2-hour segment. I was like, here's the 2 hours worth of news condensed into 1 hour, and my voice just died afterwards.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of big ones, but not really. It's a lot of, here's news for Celebration, here's news for release dates, here's news for other bits and pieces, but no, nothing big. And in the space of, this is what Celebration is, in the space of a few days, we've had the Episode 9 trailer, we've had Jedi Fallen Order trailer, we've now had The Mandalorian, we've got the Clone Wars, we're going to Resistance Season 2, and then we've got the Episode 1 panel tomorrow and the closing ceremony, which they'll be announcing Celebration 2020 and hopefully please in London.
Anywhere in Europe would be lovely. I don't know if we will get that. That's the hope. We'll watch that. The closing panel when we were there was really disappointing. Last year's closing panel was really disappointing. They don't tend to do a lot on these, the closing panels. No. If there's an announcement normally of Celebration, last time they couldn't announce it because they were waiting for everything else that was going on. They didn't announce a date for that at all, even though that's what everyone was kind of thinking would come out. This was going to be for the next one. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing year for Star Wars, I think. And that's just, my love for this is just growing and growing. And everything that's been announced certainly makes my fandom. It's just, again, I just feel like a kid at Christmas.
And it's lucky that the three of us have our little chat to get all of our Star Wars out in, or else I feel sorry for the people around us, because or else we would be bursting at the seams.
Yeah, otherwise I'd literally just talk to myself. It would be terrible. I'd do my own podcast with just maybe awfulness. Really boring.
Well, we've had a couple of shows to just you, we've had a couple of shows to just me, and
the solo shows are quite good sometimes, but yeah, they're a bit awkward sometimes as well.
They are little because you know what to bounce it off of.
Yeah, exactly. You can have an opinion, you just go, yeah, I've got this. They go, no, that's a terrible opinion.
Well, the great thing about the three of us is we usually have one in the middle, one side, and one the other. Without meaning to.
I can't wait for episode 9.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 9, hopefully we'll all be singing together during the show after. That would be awesome. And right now, that is the idea that we'll all get together for episode 9 and do a show straight after we've come out the screening. Whether that comes off is another thing altogether. We are terrible at organising. But we'll certainly try. But yeah, this has been today. This is The Mandalorian. If you get a chance to see what's out there, you should get a look at that before it's gone. I'm sure a trailer will be coming up shortly anyway. Like Phil says, I'm sure they'll get a full HD one for people to see. So yeah, it looks amazing. This is perfect Star Wars for me. Phil, what are your final thoughts before we close out?
I cannot give you words. I am so excited. I was excited for 9. I'm almost more excited for this. That's the biggest compliment I can give it is it looks like a Star Wars film. It doesn't feel like a show. It feels like a film.
Yeah, absolutely. With you 100%.
Indeed. Anyway, for those of us who are live watching along, thank you for joining us. We will be, of course, coming back a little bit later to do the Clone Wars panel. For those of you who are watching and listening to afterwards, go check out said Clone Wars video or any of the other videos on our channel for that matter. You can always find us on YouTube. We are live every other week on Wednesdays at 8 p.m.-ish. We're never on time. This is What's the Force, a Star Wars podcast that's never on time.
That's terribly true.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Once the Force, a Star Wars podcast, or at the Force Podcast. You can find this audio later on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. We've been Once the Force. May the Force be with you. Good night.